Part 10. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Did. Chapter 91. After running far away, the strong man named Zhao gradually calmed down. He woke up. There should be no strong people guarding Yejia village, but an extremely powerful killing array has been deployed there. If Brother Ge and I had entered together just now, we would probably be dead by now. The strong man named Zhao was extremely afraid. This place was relatively close to the territory of the Southwest Prince, so he rushed to the palace of the Southwest Prince overnight. In the early morning, Southwest King Siduta was woken up from his sleep. "Zhao Li, what's the matter?" Siduta said in a deep voice. He is a powerful person at the 8th level of the God Emperor, and he is also a vassal king. He is not angry but has authority. Zhao Li hurriedly said, "Your Majesty, the Crown Prince asked me to do something with Brother Ge Ping. The matter did not go well and Brother Ge Ping died. The details are as follows. After hearing this, Stuart's face turned gloomy. The 6th level cultivation of God King Jeping is not an insignificant subordinate, and the loss will be huge if he dies. Why did the prince do this?" Stuart said in a deep voice. Siduyan did not tell his father that he needed treatment to regain his strength. What will happen when the throne of the crown prince is gone? Zhao Li hesitated for a moment and said, "Your Majesty, the prince must have been tricked by the empress, or it may have been tricked by other powerful people, but they just borrowed the empress's hand. If you don't seek treatment from the emperor and empress once in a month, the prince will not be able to become a man." Siduta raised his eyebrows, confused. If he didn't tell his family about something like this, he couldn't solve it by himself. Could it be that this king can't solve it when he comes back? Go back to Tianyang Imperial City and tell him to come back. Zhao Li nodded, "Yes, Your Majesty." "Do we still want to take action in Yejia village?" Stuart shook his head. "Since Luo Hanjian attaches great importance to it, it is better not to cause trouble at this juncture." Zhao Li left, and Siduta sent a message to a strong man. Not long after, a woman in red came to Siduta. "Your Majesty." The woman in red spoke with a pleasant voice, but her face was extremely ugly and scary. "Chai Mei, go to Yejia village and see what formations there are and what levels they are," Stuart ordered. This woman in red, Chi Mei, is no worse than him in cultivation. She is also the 8th level of the God Emperor and is good at formations. "Yes, Your Majesty." Chi Mei disappeared in an instant. She rushed to Yejia village like a ghost. She was about 2,000 kilometers away and arrived in less than half an hour. Chi Mei's forehead was split and a third eye appeared. The formation that Ye Chen arranged was enough to kill ordinary God Emperor level figures, but Chi Mei was a powerful 8th level God Emperor, and it was beyond the scope of what the formation could deal with. What a wonderful formation! The treasure in the center of the formation only reaches the 9th level of the God King. With a pile of junk, it can actually kill people up to the 3rd level of the God King. And it can also absorb the blood of the deceased and absorb the treasures of the deceased to become stronger. Chi Mei was shocked. Her level in formations is very high, and she can understand this formation, but she clearly knows that even if she can see such a formation, she will not be able to arrange it. Not good enough. At least a formation master from the 9th level of the God Emperor can arrange such a formation. This sword seems to belong to the owner of Blood Rain Tower. Chi Mei's face changed slightly. All the hundreds of strong men in the Blood Rain Tower died. She had already received the news, and she even went to see the corpses. No one knows how they died. But one thing is certain, it must be a powerful person at the level of the God Emperor who is good at hypnosis. The people from Blood Rain Tower are most likely to have taken over the task of dealing with Yejiakan. It turns out that there should be top experts guarding this place. The other party killed the experts from Blood Rain Tower and set up this formation. Chi Mei left quickly. Although she has the cultivation level of the 8th level of the God Emperor, Chi Mei has no confidence that she can beat the opponent. What if the other person doesn't leave? At dawn, Chi Mei returned to the Southwest Palace. She told Stuart what she found, and Stuart frowned. He knew that royal ancestor Xuanhuan was very powerful and was also very good at formations. But it was impossible for Xuanhuan to come here. There is such a strong person in the royal family. Situda thought that he already knew all about the powerful members of the royal family, but he didn't expect that something would slip through the net. Since there is one, there may be many. It seems that the plan needs to be more thorough, and it also needs to win over allies. Maybe you have to agree to the conditions of Lord Taixuan. Situda thought to himself. In Fengming Palace, Yechen, who was lying in the sun, opened his eyes and looked at a training room in the backyard. Of course the training room is not his, he doesn't need it. Lu Zhongliang practices inside. Just now, Yechen felt a terrifying aura, and Lu Zhongliang finally broke through to the emperor level. Next to Yechen, Chunlin, who was playing the piano, didn't look strange at all. In Fengming Palace, only Yechen could sense that the accompanying divine willow blocked Lu Zhongliang's breakthrough aura. If not, if a strong person breaks through to the level of a great emperor, there will be strange phenomena happening thousands of miles away. Empress, I have made a breakthrough, I have reached the level of the great emperor. Lu Zhongliang's extremely excited voice sounded in Yechen's mind. As a monster, it is not easy to break through to the emperor level. The special time is still very short. Monsters like Lu Zhongliang often hide in deep mountains and old forests, and spend a long time slowly accumulating breakthroughs. The lifespan of monsters is much longer than that of humans. It's only the first level of the great emperor. Don't get too excited with such little strength. Yechen said calmly. Lu Zhongliang thought of the terrifying big willow tree and Yechen who planted the willow tree, and his excited heart quickly calmed down. Eunuch Lu, you need some pressure to quickly consolidate your cultivation. Let me ask Xiao Lu to help you. Xiao Lu is the companion god Lu. The next second. Boom. Lu Zhongliang felt an extremely terrifying pressure, and this pressure came from the big willow tree. If he was a mouse, the big willow tree was not a cat, but a tiger. Ah! Lu Zhongliang screamed in horror. Under the pressure of the other party, he felt as if his body was about to collapse. I am also at the level of the great emperor now. Even the 9th level of the great emperor cannot be this strong. Mr. Lu should be a strong man at the semi-saint level. Lu Zhon thought in his heart. He didn't dare to call him Xiaoliu, he usually called him Big Liashu Master Lu. Lu Zhongliang was frightened when he judged that Mr. Lu should be a semi-saint level expert. Yechen planted this willow tree, and it didn't take long to plant it. De Liashu still listened to Yechen very much. If Master Lu is a semi-saint level expert, the Empress should be a saint-level expert. Lu Zhongliang was extremely shocked. In the past, it was very scary to judge that Yechen should be a semi-saint level figure, but it turned out to be more than that. His current level of cultivation at the first level of the Great Emperor is just an ant in front of a strong person at the level of the Holy Lord. Ah! The pressure around him quickly became stronger, and Lu Zhongliang resisted desperately. In this confrontation, he quickly consolidated his current strength as the first level of the Great Emperor. After a long time, Lu Zhongliang had consolidated his position. He stood in front of Yechen and bowed. His expression was even more respectful than before. Emperor and Empress, thank you for allowing me to rise to my current level of strength. Although my strength is still beyond your eyes, I should be able to do some errands for you, Empress and Empress. Lu Zhongliang said in a low voice, without the dignity of an emperor-level powerhouse at all. Yechen looked at Lu Zhongliang and nodded slightly. With Lu Zhongliang's current strength, it would be convenient for him to go out of the palace to do something for him. Lu Zhongliang, Suiolu took the order to destroy Yejia village. Go to the south and find out which force sent the order to Xuanhuan downstairs. Ye Chen said calmly. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 92. Taking the passage order given by Ye Chen, Lu Zhongliang quickly left the Tianyuan Emperor's palace. Lu Zhongliang, who has a cultivation level of the Great Emperor, is now super fast. 2 hours later, he had arrived at Yejiakan. Lu Zhongliang's eyes flashed, and he discovered that there was an extra weapon in the formation arranged by Ye Chen. Before setting off, Ye Chen told Lu Zhongliang about the formations arranged here. Lu Zhongliang knew clearly what the formation was made of. Come. Lu Zhongliang stretched out his hand. The terrifying suction force is generated by his hands. In the blink of an eye, a long sword that had been absorbed into the formation was in Lu Zhongliang's hand. There is no special mark on the long sword. But the owner of this long sword died not long ago, and the owner's aura still remains on it. Very light breath. It would be difficult for a strong person like Qi Mei to judge the identity of the original owner through the remaining breath. Familiar scent. Let me think about it, it seems to be the aura of a guard beside Sidu Yan. Lu Zhongliang has met Ji Yiping, and he remembers Ji Yiping's breath. That's right, it's indeed the aura of that guard. Lu Zhongliang made a careful judgment again. A cold light flashed in his eyes. This formation will only attack if it senses strong killing intent. It means that Ji Yiping wants to kill someone when he comes here. Ji Yiping was Sidu Yan's bodyguard, and most likely he was sent here by Sidu Yan. Did Sidu Yan place the order for Xuanhuan Tower? Lu Zhongliang thought for a while and quickly headed to Tianese City. Tianese City is the royal city of the Southwest royal vassal. The Southwest Palace is located in Tianese City. Lu Zhongliang approached his destination in about a quarter of an hour. Lu Zhongliang's face changed slightly, he felt threatened. It seemed that as long as he entered Tianese City, something could kill him. There should be no emperor-level experts in Tianese City. Is it an emperor-level treasure? Lu Zhongliang thought secretly. The Sidu family has dominated the southwest for 2,000 years. No vassal king has been murdered in such a long time. None of the outgoing feudal lords was ever murdered. After reading a lot of books, Ye Chen had already concluded that there should be emperor-level treasures in Tianese City. Maybe more than one. Of course, such a treasure would not have as much deterrent power as an emperor-level powerhouse, but it still had an extremely powerful deterrent power. Sidu Yan and the others didn't offend him just once or twice. Why didn't you kill them? This is one of the reasons. Can he really dominate the southwest, occupy the position of vassal king, and have the courage to rebel? Is it easy to offend? Throughout the ages, many powerful people have provoked the Sidu family, and they have all died. The Sidu family is still doing well now? Lu Zhongliang silently retreated a lot. Go back to Tianyuan Imperial City and find Sidu Yan directly. Lu Zhongliang thought secretly. It would be difficult for Sidu Yan to directly hypnotize someone with the strength of a god king. But without hypnosis, it is possible to get information from Sidu Yan. Thinking of this, Lu Zhongliang was ready to leave. At this moment, 4 strong men flew over quickly, and one of them was Sidu Yan. Lu Zhongliang has also seen the other 3. 1 divine emperor and 2 divine kings. They are all Sidu Yan's guards. Why is Sidu Yan back? Lu Zhon was confused. Sidu Yan's problem has not been solved. Could it be that he came back to seek treatment from his father? Go. Lu Zhongliang approached, and a ray of his consciousness entered Sidu Yan's body to form a special mark. Through this mark, he can monitor Sidu Yan. Soon Sidu Yan and the others entered Tianese City. Your Majesty, let's go see the prince together first. The powerful God Emperor said that his name was Duan Yangquan, and he possessed the powerful strength of the God Emperor at the 5th level. Sidu Yan nodded, feeling a little uneasy. His performance during this trip to Tianyang Imperial City would definitely not satisfy his father. The losses on the white paper were serious and the body suffered hidden injuries. Siduran failed to become the imperial concubine. The operation they planned with Prince Mu also ended in failure. Father! Your Majesty! Soon Siduyan and the others met the Southwest King Siduda. Siduda nodded slightly, and his eyes fell on Siduyan. Yanur, you came back to deal with the plot. What you wanted to do was to hide it? As a father, you are not that unkind. Stuart said in a deep voice. Yes, father. Siduyan lowered his head and said. Siduda asked, you sent Ji Ping and the others to Yejia village. There is a strong person in front of you who wants Sueola to take action. Is it you? Siduyan was confused. Father, I heard that the Blood Rain Tower was destroyed some time ago, and it was not destroyed in Yejia village. Is it related to Yejia village? Stuart said in a deep voice, so this matter has nothing to do with you? If you tell the truth. Siduyan shook his head repeatedly. Father, isn't Blood Rain Tower a killer organization? I just want to seize the people in Yejia village who have leverage to target the Emperor and the Empress. There is no need to kill them. Siduda nodded slightly. At this moment, don't ruin your father's plan by messing around. Father has found a powerful miracle doctor for you, who should be able to solve your problem. Siduyan said goodbye and left. Siduyan doesn't seem to be lying. Killing everyone in Yejiakan is indeed not the best choice for him. Lu Zhongliang thought to himself. We should check at Yejia village. The forces behind the action may have left clues. Lu Zhongliang returned to Yejia village, and his powerful spiritual sense spread out. Lu Zhongliang is now a great emperor-level warrior, and his spiritual sense can cover an area of 200 kilometers. But such a large coverage area will consume a lot of energy. It seems that there is no problem. Lu Zhongliang muttered. More than a month has passed, and there are still some people who talk about the destruction of the Blood Rain Tower, but they are just ordinary chats. Without a clue, Lu Zhongliang can only use a stupid method. He went 200 kilometers away and continued to scan and check the rest of the place with his spiritual sense. 2 days passed like this. Lu Zhongliang has checked hundreds of kilometers away. His spiritual sense covered Fujita Saburo's martial arts school. Fujita Saburo easily aroused Lu Zhongliang's suspicion. On the surface, Fujita Saburo opened an ordinary martial arts school, and his cultivation was not high, only at the level of Xingai, but Lu Zhongliang found that he was actually far more than Xingai. Saburo Fujita is a Yangshan-level warrior. There are powerful masters who have concealed his cultivation. This guy should be a high-level spy from the Thousand Islands. The bloodline aura is related to Fujita Miyaichi. Lu Zhongliang's eyes flashed with brilliance, and he was overjoyed and immediately went to the martial arts hall where Saburo Fujita was. Saburo Fujita is now teaching people to practice martial arts. On the surface, he is no different from the owners of other martial arts halls. Most of the time, he practices by himself, and when he is interested, he also teaches the students who come to the martial arts hall to study. Although Saburo Fujita is from the Thousand Islands, Tianyang Imperial City is powerful, and there are many people from the Thousand Islands who make a living in Tianyang Imperial City. There are many such martial arts halls. The owner of the Blood Rain Tower is a Yangshan-level warrior. If you want to place an order without being known by the owner of the Blood Rain Tower, you can't be weak. This guy meets the conditions. It didn't take long for Lu Zhongliang to arrive at the martial arts hall. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Did. Chapter 93. Lu Zhongliang waited for a while without taking action in public. Fujita Saburo left the martial arts hall and went to his house. Let's go. The invisible force controlled Fujita Saburo, and Fujita Saburo had no choice but to go out of the city. Who is it? Fujita Saburo was horrified and struggled desperately. However, it was useless. His Yangshen 8th level cultivation was very strong, but he was nothing in front of Lu Zhongliang, a great emperor. After leaving the city, Lu Zhongliang came to Fujita Saburo and took him to the sky. It didn't take long to reach 100 kilometers away. Regardless of whether Fujita Saburo placed an order at the Blood Rain Tower, Lu Zhongliang planned to take him back. This guy is definitely a high-level spy from the Thousand Islands. Who are you and why did you arrest me? If you want money, I'll give it to you. Fujita Saburo found that he could speak and said loudly. Lu Zhongliang looked into Fujita Saburo's eyes and tried to hypnotize Fujita Saburo. But he failed. Humph. Lu Zhongliang snorted slightly, feeling somewhat unhappy. He was a great emperor-level warrior, but he failed to hypnotize Saburo Fujita. This guy must have received strict special training in this area. What's your name? Lu Zhongliang asked. Hashai Viejun. Saburo Fujita said, this is the name he used in the Tianyang dynasty, and he has been using it for decades. Lu Zhongliang laughed. He couldn't hypnotize Saburo Fujita, but with his great emperor-level cultivation, couldn't he see that Saburo Fujita was lying at this moment? I'll take you to a place. Lu Zhongliang sneered, he knocked Saburo Fujita unconscious, and a few minutes later he took Saburo Fujita to the air over Yejia village. Wake up. Look down. Lu Zhongliang said in a deep voice. Saburo Fujita woke up, he looked down at the village below. Of course he knew what Yejia village looked like. Instantly Saburo Fujita's pupils shrank slightly, and a trace of panic flashed in his eyes. The heartbeat accelerated slightly. The mental power also produced a slight fluctuation. These ordinary emperor-level figures may not be able to discover that Fujita Saburo has received special training. But he could not hide it from Lu Zhongliang. The fact that Sueo Tower took orders to kill people is indeed related to you. Lu Zhongliang smiled. He finally completed the task assigned by Yechen after almost 3 days. Senior, I know that everyone in Sueo Tower was killed, but I know nothing else. Fujita Saburo argued. Come with me. Lu Zhongliang waved his sleeves and Fujita Saburo disappeared. His body shrank and was hidden in Lu Zhongliang's sleeves. 2 hours later, Lu Zhongliang returned to Tianyang Imperial City. He quietly returned to Tianyang Imperial Palace. Other emperor-level strongmen would be discovered if they entered Tianyang Imperial City, but Lu Zhongliang would not. The companion god Willow made a move on his body. Empress, I will fulfill my mission. Lu Zhongliang said respectfully. He arrived at the backyard of Fengming Palace, and Fujita Saburo appeared beside him. Saburo Fujita was a little confused. Lu Zhongliang had changed his appearance in front of him, so he recognized Lu Zhongliang and Yechen. Wasn't Eunuch Lu a 7th level divine king? Why did Eunuch Lu bring him back to the Tianyang Imperial Palace in just 2 hours? Even the top divine emperor level warriors might not be able to achieve such a speed. Moreover, Eunuch Lu was so respectful to Yechen. That kind of respect seemed to come from the depths of his soul, not just because Yechen was the empress, so he was respectful on the surface. The blood of the Fujita family. Yechen looked at Saburo Fujita. Saburo Fujita's heart trembled, and his origins were actually revealed by Yechen in one word. Lu Zhongliang said, Empress, I can see that he has the blood of the Fujita family. He is hiding in a small martial arts hall with a Yangshen level of cultivation. I took him to Yejia village. His eyes, heartbeat, and mental fluctuations are all abnormal. Fujita Saburo hurriedly said, Empress, I am wronged. Although I have a Yangshen level of cultivation, I just want to live a simple life, so I hide my cultivation. Ye Chen smiled and said, it's hidden very well. Even a powerful god emperor level strongman may not be able to find it. Xiao Lu, get him. The willow branches sway gently. In the blink of an eye, Fujita Saburo was completely hypnotized. He is very resistant to hypnosis, and Lu Zhongliang can't do anything to him, but the companion god Willow has the strength of the saint level within 100 meters. Tell me your name and origin. Fujita Saburo said with a dull look, my name is Fujita Saburo. I am from the Fujita family. My father is the patriarch of the Fujita family. My eldest brother is the ruler of the 1,000 Islands. My mother is a concubine with poor martial arts talent. I was sent to the Tianyang dynasty to be responsible for intelligence work since I was a child. Hypnotized by the companion god Willow, Fujita Saburo explained clearly. Ye Chen said, did you place an order for the Blood Rain Tower to destroy the Yejia village? No, it was placed by the powerful god emperor in the family. I don't know who it was. Ye Chen's eyes flashed coldly. Lu Zhongliang smiled. It was indeed the Fujita family who did it. His mission was successfully completed. This is the first important task Ye Chen gave him. It must be done beautifully. Enter all the spy information you know about your 1,000 islands here into it. Enter the rest of the confidential information of the 1,000 islands. Ye Chen threw a jade slip to Fujita Saburo. Saburo Fujita had been completely hypnotized and did not resist Ye Chen's order at all. His consciousness entered the jade slip and quickly entered a large amount of information into it. Xiao Lu, give him a soul hint to forget all this. He left the martial arts gym, went out for a casual walk around the city, and then returned home. Ye Chen ordered calmly. The companion Chen Liu quickly completed the soul hint to Fujita Saburo. Eunuch Lu, send him home. Yes. In another 2 hours, Eunuch Lu brought Saburo Fujita to his door. Saburo Fujita shook his head and woke up. He didn't suspect anything. In Fengming Palace, Ye Chen carefully inspected the things handed over by Saburo Fujita. There are many spies. The number exceeds 100,000. Shocking. When a large number of spies are not activated, they are just ordinary people, no different from other people. Once activated, they might be able to obtain some important information. In addition to the spy information, Saburo Fujita also handed over some other information, some of which was also very important. Even if I have the strength of an emperor, and Eunuch Lu has the strength of an emperor, there is no way we can capture them in such a large area with more than 100,000 spies. Ye Chen muttered. This information must be in Luo Hongjian's hands, and it would be better for Luo Hongjian to handle it. But if the spy network that has been painstakingly built for many years is suddenly destroyed, will the 1,000 Islands Congress take crazy actions? Ye Chen is not worried about his own safety, but where is Ye Jiakan? There are not enough men. Ye Chen secretly thought in his heart that he planned to secretly train 1 or 2 more powerful subordinates. Ye Chen, I heard that Eunuch Lu has been in and out of the palace several times, and now he is out again. What is he doing? Luo Hongjian arrived at Ye Chen's side, and she received a report from her subordinates. She didn't suspect that Ye Chen wanted to harm her, but she was worried that Ye Chen would be deceived by Lu Zhongliang. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 94. Ye Chen looked at Luo Hongjian, and he did not find any doubt in her eyes. There was only worry. It shows that the relationship is basically in place. Now, even if Luo Hongjian knew that he had great strength, she should not drive him out of the palace. Unlike before, if he exposed his strength, he would definitely not be able to become the empress. If Luo Hongjian did not kill him, it would be the end of their relationship. However, having said that, if he could not expose his strength, Ye Chen would definitely choose not to expose his strength. His system itself is a bit tricky, and he would have a better effect if he signed in while being tricky. Hanjian, take a look at this. Ye Chen took out the jade slip recorded by Fujita Saburo. Among the large amount of information in it, there was no information about Fujita Saburo himself, and the information of other spies was not missing. What is this? Luo Hanjian took the jade slip, and her consciousness entered the jade slip. The next second, Luo Hanjian widened her eyes, unable to believe it. There was a huge amount of spy information in it. If it is true, the value of this information is inestimable. I got this jade slip by chance, so I asked Eunuch Lu to verify it. Now that several have been verified, it is basically certain that this information is true. Luo Hanjian looked at Ye Chen with her beautiful eyes. Ye Chen is really his lucky queen. Ye Chen, I will ask someone to verify it immediately. If there is no problem, you and Eunuch Lu have made great contributions this time. Luo Hanjian said solemnly. Ye Chen waved his hand. What great contribution? I have nothing. Now I just need a wife to warm my bed. Luo Hanjian. Her beautiful eyes turned. Ye Chen, it is impossible for me to sleep with you every day. It's good enough to sleep once every 3 or 4 days. I need to spend a lot of time on cultivation. Do you think what I said to you before was false? Are you worried that I just said it, but I don't want you to sleep with Xuanhuan and others at all? Ye Chen rolled his eyes. He was stupid if he believed it. Luo Hanjian said solemnly, well, I now solemnly promise you that if you reach the level of juxing, you can find a warm bed, and I have absolutely no objection. I will take her as my imperial concubine at that time. If you don't like Xuanhuan, the others are fine. Ye Chen was stunned. What the hell? Luo Hanjian said in a light voice, although I am the empress, who says that the empress can't have concubines? When the concubine loses her virginity, I will be in front of her, you don't have to worry. Ye Chen secretly said, what a guy. Luo Hanjian's imagination is good. In order to stimulate his motivation to practice, Luo Hanjian is also risking it. Luo Hanjian's 2 imperial concubines will sleep on the dragon bed at that time, isn't it reasonable? This operation is invincible. Hanjian, I'm honest. In fact, I have already reached the level of Divine Emperor. Let me count: Juxing, Xingai, Ningyang, Yangshen, Divine Emperor, Hanjian, you can now marry 5 more imperial concubines. Ye Chen said seriously, bending his fingers. Luo Hanjian was speechless. Ye Chen, if you already have the level of Divine Emperor, I already have the level of Saint Venerable. Ye Chen glanced at Luo Hanjian. The level of Saint Venerable doesn't look like it? Ye Chen sighed. Hanjian, why don't you believe me when I tell the truth? If I really have the level of Divine Emperor in the future, will you cry if you find 5 female imperial concubines? Luo Hanjian rolled her eyes secretly. She showed Luo Wanli all the levels of Ye Chen, and Luo Wanli was a great emperor. Luo Wanli said before that Ye Chen only had the level of acquired cultivation. And Ye Chen had never practiced properly since he entered the palace. Could Ye Chen have the level of Divine Emperor? She is extremely gifted, blessed by the imperial spirit, and has a vast amount of resources, but now she is only at the 9th level of the Divine King. Luo Hanjian snorted, if that day really comes, I will treat them like sisters. You don't practice every day, and you are still at the Divine King level. Why don't you talk about the Great Emperor? Ye Chen sighed to the sky, I haven't reached the Great Emperor level yet, but it will be soon. To be honest, Hanjian, do you have too little confidence in me? There are such rewards at the juxing level. You make me feel a little useless. Luo Hanjian snorted. Ye Chen is now in his 20s and has only reached the 1st level of the innate. Luo Hanjian estimated that Ye Chen would definitely not reach the juxing level in 30 to 50 years. By then, Ye Chen might be powerless. If such a method can motivate Ye Chen to practice hard and improve his cultivation earlier, Luo Hongjian is actually happy. She will definitely become a divine king, and then she will have a lifespan of hundreds of years. What if Ye Chen dies early? Luo Hongjian said, Ye Chen, don't say so much, hurry up and upgrade to the Juxing level. I have already given you my promise. Whether you can achieve it or not is your own business. After saying that, Luo Hongjian left. She had to find someone to verify the information she got from Ye Chen. I have to work harder. Ye Chen muttered. He moved his recliner from the shade of the tree to a place where the sun was shining, then lay down and closed his eyes. Well, not bad. The speed of practicing in the sun is a little faster. It's just that the sun moves, and the recliner needs to be moved every once in a while, which is a bit troublesome. Luo Hongjian. She heard Ye Chen's muttering and thought that Ye Chen was really going to work hard to practice. Unexpectedly, Ye Chen moved his recliner and closed his eyes and started to sleep. I'm afraid this guy won't be able to reach the star-gathering level in 100 years. Luo Hongjian smiled bitterly in her heart. I originally thought that the man was lustful, and such stimulation should make Ye Chen practice hard, but he didn't expect Ye Chen to be so salty. Oh, it would be great if this guy could really reach the level of God Emperor. Luo Hongjian thought to herself. If this is the case, she can live for hundreds of years, and Ye Chen can also live for hundreds of years, and they can get along with each other for a lifetime. Go to Jiangnan and verify whether these 20 people are spies from the Thousand Island Kingdom. Don't alert the enemy. Luo Hongjian sent a strong man at the level of a God Emperor. Yes, Your Majesty. Ye Chen took a nap, and Lu Zhongliang returned and told Ye Chen that the matter had been settled. Empress, there are 2 more things that I need to report to you. Lu Zhongliang said respectfully. Say it. Lu Zhongliang took out the sword he got from the formation. Empress, this sword belongs to Sidu Yan's guard Ge Ping. I took it out from the formation. Ge Ping died over there. Sidu Yan asked him to kill some people and then capture most of the people in Yejia village alive. Ye Chen's eyes flickered, and he understood what Sidu Yan was thinking. Send people to deal with ordinary people in Yejia village. Shit. Another thing, I went to Tianese City. When I was near Tianese City, I sensed a death threat. It seems that if I sneak into Tianese City, I will be killed. Ye Chen was not surprised at all. He said quietly, it is normal for Tianese City to have emperor-level treasure guards. Before the rules of heaven and earth changed, there were more emperor-level powerful people than now. It is difficult to become an emperor nowadays, but some ancient forces have treasures that are at the level of an emperor. The Sidhu family has dominated the southwest for 2,000 years, and no vassal king has ever been killed, so nothing is impossible. There might even be more than one. What the Empress said is absolutely true. Lu Zhongliang said respectfully. If Hongjian asks you what you are doing out of the palace, you say this dash. Ye Chen told Lu Zhongliang that he could no longer cheat. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 95. The beauty of the country is heavenly and fragrant. Every one of them is beautiful and fragrant. Ye Chen said with emotion, holding a picture album in his hand. The picture album is very beautiful, with a total of 68 pages. There is a woman drawn on each page, and all of these women are characters on the Juxiao beauty list. Miss Minjiao is above. Luo Hongjian is not here. Women with too high status will not be included in the register, and married women will not be included in the register. Luo Hongjian was stained by both. Does it look good? Luo Hongjian said calmly. She was lying next to her. She personally gave this picture album to Ye Chen. There are no copy machines or cameras in Juxiao continent. Every painting on this page was painted by at least a master-level painter, and each one is of high value. A book worth 1,000 gold. A full 100,000 taels of silver. The top 10 women were all painted by master-level painters, and their portraits can leave people stunned. Each painter usually only paints one person. Juxiao Pavilion purchased these paintings, bound them into volumes and sold them, and the profit was extremely high. Nice. Ye Chen nodded. He is an honest man, good looking is good looking, he cannot lie to others. Although there are still some flaws in these paintings due to his level as a god-level painter, they are already very good. It's real enough. The rest of the people, Ye Chen, didn't know that Ye Chen had seen Minjiao girl, and it was indeed similar to the one in the painting. Minjiao girl ranked in the top 10, and her painting was painted by a master. Hanjian, it's my birthday tomorrow, isn't this a birthday gift? Not bad. Ye Chen said with a smile. When giving gifts, give them something that others like. This little hobby of his seems to be controlled by Luo Hanjian. Luo Hanjian said calmly, I am the emperor, how can it be possible for me to give gifts so low grade? Ye Chen's eyes widened. Isn't this a gift? Do I need to take it back? Hanjian, what do you mean by showing me this? Ye Chen asked. Luo Hanjian said with a smile, Ye Chen, I think that although Chunlin and the others are not bad in appearance, their talents are average and their strength is average. You need powerful maids. The woman on the third page is called In Langxiu. She is the darling daughter of the Heavenly Sword Villa in the south of the Yangtze River. She is 21 years old and has reached the level of a god king. She is ranked 6th on the 9 heavens beauty list. The woman on the 9th page is called Lu Qianqian. She is a folk fairy. She had an unexpected encounter and obtained a peerless inheritance. Now she is close to the level of a god king. She is ranked 15th on the 9 heavens beauty list. Their appearance flashed in Ye Chen's mind. Photographic memory is no joke. Both women are stunning. Speaking of which, Ye Chen felt that Lu Qianqian's ranking was a bit low. She should have been in the top 10. The reason why she fell behind in the ranking was probably because Lu Qianqian's background was not very good. Hanjian, you don't want to give them to me as a birthday gift, as my maid, do you? Ye Chen was a little afraid to enter the passage. Luo Hanjian smiled lightly and said, they have already entered the palace. I have asked their opinions. They are willing to become your maids. You are right. This is my birthday gift to you. I didn't give them last year. I'll give you 2 maids this year and make up for last year's ones. Ye Chen covered his chest, his little heart couldn't bear it. What does a wife think of finding such a maid for herself? It's quite urgent to wait online. Hanjian, they are human beings, how can this be used as a gift? Ye Chen said. Luo Hanjian said quietly, without enough strength, peerless appearance is just a disaster for them. Lu Qianqian has been hiding and fleeing since she was listed on the list. Shenjian Villa is very powerful, but it has also encountered a lot of trouble. I can let them live in peace of mind, and I can also give them the resources they need to practice. Besides, they just become your maids, not your objects. Ye Chen said with a strange expression, Hanjian, you not only think that I need protection, you also want to use them to tempt me to practice hard. Your method is a bit strange. Luo Hanjian's eyes showed a proud look. En Langxiu and Lu Qianqian, in fact, Luo Hanjian had already taken them into the palace. She was a little hesitant before. Should they be allowed to become Ye Chen's maids? It would be good for the 2 of them to become her own maids. They have strong cultivation and high talents and are worthy of being trained as confidants. But after talking to Ye Chen yesterday, Ye Chen didn't practice at all. Luo Hanjian felt that she would not be able to survive unless she resorted to ruthless attacks. She didn't believe that Ye Chen's laziness in training could not be cured. The 2 women at the top of Juxiao's beauty list became maids. She also promised Ye Chen that she could have them as long as Ye Chen's cultivation improved. Luo Hanjian didn't believe it. In this situation, even if it is a salted fish, she will make it jump. Ye Chen, don't worry about whether the method is strange or not, as long as it works. Luo Hongjian said with a smile. She clapped her hands as she spoke. Two women came over outside. See your majesty, see the emperor and empress. The two women saluted in unison. Ye Chen looked at them. Good guys, they are in Langxiu and Lu Qianqian. The two girls seem to be a little prettier than in the painting, and their looks are definitely on the same level as Miss Minjiao. Maybe a little higher. And Langxiu's ranking is already higher. Lu Qianqian's ranking was affected by her life experience. In addition, Miss Minjiao was in a brothel, and Ye Chen was actually somewhat resistant to her. In Langxiu, Lu Qianqian, you two will be the emperor's maids from now on. Chunlin and the others will be responsible for his daily life. Your task is to protect the emperor. Luo Hongjian said. Yes, your majesty. And Langxiu and Lu Qianqian nodded. They actually felt some rejection in their hearts, but they did not show it. They originally wanted to become Luo Hongjian's maids and become Luo Hongjian's confidants in the future. Unexpectedly, Luo Hongjian temporarily arranged for them to become Ye Chen's maids. Fortunately, Ye Chen is quite handsome as an empress, so it's still acceptable to be reluctant. Empress, I am in Langxiu. Empress, I am Lu Qianqian. The two women saluted Ye Chen again, and this time they knelt down to do so. This is a confession of allegiance to the Lord. You guys get up, Chunlin will arrange the room for them to live in. Ye Chen ordered. And Langxiu and Lu Qianqian stepped back, and Luo Hongjian chuckled and said, Ye Chen, you should be quite satisfied with my gift, right? Practice hard and the rewards will be rich. Ye Chen glanced at Luo Hongjian and said angrily, Hongjian, I see you are digging holes for yourself, and you are digging 2 holes at a time. Sooner or later, you will cry. Luo Hongjian said with an arrogant expression, I am the emperor, how can I be so young? I have given you the opportunity. If you are not sure when the time comes, don't regret it. Ye Chen nodded slightly. Okay, they are both beautiful. I am very satisfied with this gift. One day you will be able to accept your concubine, I promise. Luo Hongjian smiled. Was Ye Chen being tempted? Pretty. I look forward to that day coming. Luo Hongjian left proudly. Little boy, fight with me, I am the emperor but I cheated. If Ye Chen heard Luo Hongjian's thoughts, he would definitely sigh with emotion. He is really crazy. It doesn't matter that Luo Hongjian is the emperor, it's still not enough in front of a real dick. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 96. Luo Hongjian left, and Ye Chen lay down lazily and continued to admire the beautiful pictures. Luo Hongjian did not take away the picture album. Sensible. Not far away, and Langxiu and Lu Qianqian paid attention to Ye Chen's situation, and they frowned secretly. Color embryo. Chunlin, does the emperor usually touch you? And Langxiu sent a message to Chunlin. Chunlin had just arranged a room for them, and they were already a little familiar with each other. Chunlin frowned. And Lan, please don't speak ill of the empress. The empress is a very good person. Chunlin said seriously. It's not just her, anyone who says bad things about Ye Chen, Xiaozu, and the other 3 girls will definitely refute it. And Langxiu said quickly, Chunlin, I'm sorry I don't understand the situation. Can you tell me why you think the emperor is an excellent person? Chunlin thought for a while and said, when the emperor and empress enter the palace, they reduce their own living expenses and improve the treatment of all of us. The food in Fengming Palace is the best in the palace. Our four majesties have actually said that the Emperor and Empress are allowed to be intimate with us, but the Empress has never done so, and the Empress has never scolded any of us for so long. And Langxiu was surprised. Although Chunlin and the other four girls are a little lower in appearance, they are still top beauties. The potato seeds were taken out by the Emperor and Empress, and there are countless people alive. The new paper-making technology was invented by the Emperor and Empress, allowing countless people to use cheap white paper. The Empress's piano skills, chess skills, and calligraphy are all at a god-level level, and she speaks well. Chunlin Xuanhuan said, with a look of admiration in her eyes. She felt that Ye Chen was perfect except for his weaknesses in cultivation. Maybe it's because we are in a good mood following the Emperor and Empress in Fengming Palace, so our training speed is much faster. Chunlin added another sentence. This is because she is overthinking it. The state of mind does have an impact on cultivation, but how could the impact be so great? The four of Chunlin and the others practiced faster. First, the companion Chen Liu was beside them, and Ye Chen asked him to pass some spiritual energy into Chunlin and the others every once in a while, or help them consolidate their cultivation. Secondly, sometimes what Ye Chen feeds Chunlin and the others is pretty good, but they don't know it. And Langxiu was shocked. It doesn't matter to her to save herself and be nice to her servants. Ye Chen didn't touch Chunlin and the others, probably because he was afraid that Luo Hongjian would punish him. If Chunlin admires Ye Chen very much just because of this, she thinks it's too much. No need. But what Chunlin said next was scary. Marvin actually took out the potato seeds. It is no exaggeration to describe this thing as countless living people. This thing has greatly increased Luo Hongjian's reputation among the people. It was the Emperor and Empress who took it out. The new paper-making technology has also helped countless people. God-level piano skills, God-level chess skills, God-level calligraphy, Chunlin, are you kidding me? And Langxiu said in disbelief. Reaching the master level in any discipline is extremely impressive, and reaching the God level is extremely difficult. I'm not lying. You will know this sooner or later. The Emperor and Empress are extremely powerful in these aspects, but they never show off casually. The admiration in Chunlin's eyes became even stronger. She has almost become Ye Chen's little crush. If Ye Chen really had thoughts about her, even if Luo Hongjian would punish her, she would not refuse Ye Chen. Chunlin, you said that the Empress is too perfect. Doesn't the Empress have any shortcomings? And Langxiu was confused. If a person has no shortcomings, that would be a bit scary. Is that still a human being? Chunlin sighed secretly. Aren't the shortcomings of the Emperor and Empress obvious? The Emperor and Empress have low cultivation. The Empress doesn't like practicing very much. I have never seen the Empress practicing. Chunlin was a little helpless. She actually hoped that Ye Chen's cultivation would improve quickly. She didn't know what Ye Chen and Luo Hongjian were secretly discussing. Chunlin simply hoped that Ye Chen would be stronger so that Ye Chen wouldn't get into trouble so easily. If something happens to such a good master, where will they go from here? Flourishing. And Langxiu shared what she knew with Lu Qianqian via audio transmission. Lu Qianqian was born among the people and was not as courageous as her. She did not dare to ask Chunlin and the others casually. Lu Qianqian was also shocked when she received the summons. If the Empress is such a person, it seems not bad to become the Empress maid. Lu Qianqian thought in her heart. She had seen many people starve to death before. The famine is terrible. She has good cultivation, but how many people can she help? Potatoes have been popularized, and now Lu Qianqian knows that it will be difficult for people to starve to death again. This thing is very hungry and easy to store. Especially the output is frighteningly high. Empress, if you want to practice and spar, we can accompany you. And Langxiu said, she and Lu Qianqian discussed it and walked to Ye Chen's side. If Ye Chen were stronger, the pressure on their guards would be lower. even if it is upgraded from the innate level to the star gathering level. Although it is still basically impossible to defeat any enemy, it will be much more difficult to assassinate Ye Chen with some insidious methods. Are you going to spar with me? Forget it, you can spar and let me see how strong you are. Ye Chen said with a smile. With his current level of cultivation at the second level of the Great Emperor, it would be meaningless to compete with Enlangxiu and the others, but Enlangxiu and the others are both stunning beauties, and it would be eye-catching to watch them compete. Enlangxiu and Lu Qianqian looked at Ye Chen, and they did not see lust in Ye Chen's eyes. They have seen this kind of look many times and are very sensitive. Ye Chen's eyes were very clear, with just a touch of appreciation. It's not that their looks are not good, they are very good looking, but Ye Chen often sees Luo Hongjian, and Luo Hongjian's looks are more than a little better than them. Their appearance is similar to that of Miss Minjiao, and Ye Chen can give them 99 points. Luo Hongjian is amazing. This, Emperor and Empress, we are discussing. I'm afraid it's hard to see clearly with your current level of cultivation. Enlangxiu frowned slightly and said, she has the cultivation level of the second level of the God King, and Lu Qianqian also has the cultivation level of the 9th level of the Yang Shen. Even if she suppressed her strength to the 9th level of Yang Shen to compete with Lu Qianqian, the speed would be too fast. You suppress your strength to compete at the innate level. Ye Chen said. If you hit it too fast, the beauty will be gone. Good. Enlangxiu and the others nodded, and they quickly created a barrier themselves. The barrier is transparent, Ye Chen can see clearly from outside. Aha! Clang! Soon Enlangxiu and Lu Qianqian drew their swords and took action. Their swordsmanship seemed to Ye Chen to be average. But isn't that figure and posture beautiful? Think of this as a sword dance, thumbs up. I originally thought of finding 2 subordinates to train her, but I didn't expect Hongjian to actually send 2 maids like this. Ye Chen muttered in his heart. Even if Enlangxiu has been cultivated by her family, her current level of cultivation at the second level of the God King shows that she has excellent talent. Lu Qianqian has no family support and has reached this level simply by relying on the inheritance she received. She is also extremely powerful. Although the talents of the 2 women are not as good as Luo Hongjian, they are definitely the best choices. Eunuch Lu is already a monster. If 2 more monsters come under his control, my palace will become a monster nest. Men are not welcome. From this point of view, training Enlangxiu and Lu Qianqian is the best choice. Ye Chen secretly thought. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 97. Tianese City, Southwest Palace. Your Majesty, I can't do anything about your situation. Forgive me, you don't seem to be sick. An old miracle doctor frowned. He has the 7th level of cultivation of the God Emperor, and his medical skills are even better than his. But after carefully checking Sidu Yan for 2 hours, he couldn't find any problems. Sidu Yan's eyes showed a sad look. This was the 3rd miracle doctor his father had found for him. Each one was very powerful, but the results of each examination were the same, saying that there was nothing wrong with his body. Your Majesty, maybe you are really well. The old miracle doctor left, and Zhao Li's eyes flashed as he said, maybe you had a problem at the beginning but it got better later. The Empress is probably lying to you. Sidu Yan was startled. It is really possible. Later, he was afraid of delaying treatment, so he always went to see Ye Chen within a month. Ye Chen said he would relapse in a month, but that may not be the case now. He took a lot of various tonics, and maybe he was completely cured without even realizing it. It will be 1 month tomorrow morning, let's see tomorrow. Sidu Yan thought to himself, it would be great if there was no problem. You no longer have to be controlled by Ye Chen. 1 night has passed, today is Ye Chen's birthday. Luo Hongjian needed to go to court, so of course she didn't come to Yechen early in the morning to celebrate Yechen's birthday. Sidu Yan woke up early. The last time he looked for Yechen, he went there very early. It would be a month old soon. It should be almost time. Sidu Yan took a deep breath and recalled some scenes from last night. He was so fierce last night that he killed 2 beauties until they begged for mercy. 5 minutes passed, and 10 minutes passed, and Sidu Yan's face gradually turned pale. "You guys, take off your clothes." Sidu Yan returned to the room. The 2 beauties were still there. It was supposed to be a time of high energy in the morning, but Sidu Yan still didn't react at all. "Get out, everyone, get out of here." Sidu Yan was furious. The old miracle doctor who treated him yesterday was still in Tianese City, and Sidu Yan quickly invited him over. There was obviously something wrong, but the results of the old miracle doctor's examination were still the same as before. Everything about his body was normal. The ancient miracle doctor, "To tell you the truth, I just tried it after a month, and I feel powerless now." Sidu Yan gritted his teeth and said. The old miracle doctor frowned and said, "Your Majesty, if this is the case, it's probably not a physical problem, it's probably a soul problem. I'm sorry that I can't do anything about it." The other 2 miracle doctors were also still in Tianese City, and Sidu Yan had people invite them over. The results of their inspection were still the same. Sidu Yan was completely depressed. "Father, the disease has come again and cannot be cured." Sidu Yan found his father. Studa frowned secretly. He was afraid that the top master of the royal family had taken action. Maybe it was a warning. Let them know that the royal family is not to be trifled with. You go back to Tianyang Imperial City and go to the Empress to try. It should still be cured, but the Empress won't help you easily. You bring a gift. Siduda said and called out a woman. The woman looked extremely beautiful. Sidu Yan recognized him at a glance. Her name is Huang Qingying. Ranked 98 on the Juxiao beauty list. Although they are at the bottom, those who can be on the Juxiao beauty list are all stunning beauties. You give her to the Emperor and Empress. Siduda said calmly, some time ago, his people rescued Huang Qingying, and Huang Qingying's parents were killed. Sidu Yan stared at Huang Qingying. He began to imagine some inappropriate scenes in his mind, but there was still no reaction. Something was definitely wrong. Father, how could the Emperor and Empress accept it? Sidu Yan frowned. Luo Hanjian is the Empress. He sends beautiful women to Yechen. Does Yechen have the courage to accept her? Siduda said calmly, the Emperor always leaves the palace alone, so you don't have to send her to the palace. Just find a place to raise her in Tianyang Imperial City. The house is also given to the Emperor and Empress. People always have shortcomings. For Yechen, money is not his shortcoming, and fame is not his shortcoming. So what are his shortcomings? Sidu Yan said, his cultivation level is low. Steward said, this is his superficial flaw, but there are experts guarding him in the palace. This superficial flaw can be eliminated. What is his human flaw? Power, money, fame, women, gambling, eating, he must be good at one, right? Sidu Yan frowned and said, he really has no interest in money. He made a lot of money by helping the royal family, but he didn't want it at all. His reputation was also given to the royal family, but he didn't want it. Quan, Prince Mu has asked him to become prime minister, but he is not happy. He doesn't care about eating, but he doesn't care about gambling. He is famous for his poetry, superb chess skills, and superb calligraphy, but not many people know about it now. Siduda said, he has great talent and is willing to enter the imperial palace and become the empress. What do you think is the reason? Sidu Yan's eyes flashed. Because Luo Hanjian is the #1 beauty on the Juxiao beauty list. He didn't touch Chunlin and the others. It's possible that Xuanhuan and the others haven't reached the level of attracting him yet. Sidu nodded slightly. People always have weaknesses, just find their weaknesses. Go. Sidu Yan nodded, and he and several of his men set off quickly, and Huang Qingxian was secretly taken away by them. It is worth mentioning that Huang Qingying's cultivation is not high. Just now, Sidu and the others set up a barrier around Huang Qingying, and Huang Qingying had no idea what they said. Fengming Palace. Luo Hongjian came, and Luo Yudi. Yechen is the emperor and empress, and Luo Hongjian also wanted to celebrate his birthday, but was stopped by Yechen. There is no need at all. If the news spreads, Master Peng, Lin Kaiji, and even Prince Mu are likely to attend, which is an eyesore. Just celebrate a little with a few people of your own. Brother-in-law, happy birthday. Luo Yudi said in a delicate voice. She took out her gift, which was a brocade robe. It looks pretty good. A strange light flashed in Luo Hongjian's eyes. I'm afraid it was the clothes sewn by Luo Yudi herself. Brother-in-law, this is sewn by me. Although it is far inferior to the 5-color flowing skirt you gave me, don't dislike it. I tried my best, hee. Luo Yudi stuck out her tongue and said. In order to sew this dress, she wasted dozens of times the fabric, and the fabric is not cheap. Luo Yudi also has a monthly salary, and she spent all her money on this. She likes to play chess. She must have played several games every day before, but she hasn't touched it these days. Luo Yudi has never been anywhere. She studies and works every day, and sleeps only 3 or 4 hours. She finally sewed this dress this morning. Changle, although my dress is expensive, it doesn't have any intention. Your dress is full of intention, which is much more expensive than the dress I gave you. Yechen smiled, and it looks good, brother-in-law likes it? Luo Yudi was extremely happy. Meet Princess Changle. Xuanhuan and the others came forward to salute at this time, and An Langxiu and Lu Qianqian also came to salute. Luo Yudi was stunned, and her eyes fell on An Langxiu and the others, and her eyes showed surprise. Brother-in-law, they are dash. Luo Yudi felt a little uncomfortable in her heart, and this discomfort was inexplicable. Luo Hongjian smiled and said, Changle, they are the 2 maids I have assigned to your brother-in-law. They are both very skilled and will protect your brother-in-law. Oh. When Luo Yudi heard that they were protecting Yechen, she felt a little better. She was also worried that something might happen to Yechen. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Did. Chapter 98. Brother-in-law, can you try this dress on? If it needs to be changed, I will change it. Luo Yudi looked forward to the truth. Sure. Yechen smiled and nodded. Luo Yudi was so moved that he, as a brother-in-law, couldn't refuse. But Yechen had a vague feeling that Luo Yudi's feelings for his brother-in-law were a little impure. This is not good. Luo Yudi is Luo Hongjian's younger sister. If she falls in love with an emperor like herself, where will she leave Luo Hongjian? Word spread that it was a royal scandal. Soon Yechen changed his clothes and came out. Luo Hongjian and the others' eyes lit up. Yechen usually wears simple clothes, but when he puts on this brocade robe, he looks so handsome. From the design, to the fabric, to the sewing, Luo Yudi really put a lot of thought into this robe. Changle made this dress well. Luo Hongjian smiled. There was a trace of worry in her heart. What would Luo Yudi do if she fell into Yechen's trap? Concubine Shu is her adoptive mother, and Luo Yudi and her are sisters. It would be better if there was no such relationship. With this level of relationship, Luo Hongjian would not be able to accept it. But how to tell Luo Yudi? Luo Yudi is still young, and she has not said that she is in love with Yechen, her brother-in-law. Yechen gave her a dress earlier. The dress was expensive and saved her life. On Yechen's birthday, it wouldn't be too outrageous for her to return such a gift. Hee, I think it's pretty good too. I didn't expect that the first time I made clothes, it would have such an effect. Sister Hanjian, can I make one for you when the time comes? Luo Yudi said happily. Luo Hanjian touched Luo Yudi's little head and said with a smile, of course that's good, but there's no need to be so anxious. Ye Chen, Chang'e gave you such a gift. You are good at poetry. Why don't you give Chang'e 2 lines of poetry in return? She wanted to see what Ye Chen thought when Luo Yudi gave such a gift. Luo Yudi also gave Ye Chen a lucky bag earlier, and Luo Hanjian also knew about it. Brother-in-law, your poems and calligraphy are very good. I've wanted it for a long time. Brother-in-law, I'll grind the ink for you. Luo Yudi ran to the study happily. Ye Chen and the others naturally followed into the study. And Langxiu and the others also followed. They were very curious about what kind of poems Ye Chen wrote and what his calligraphy was like. Soon Luo Yudi polished the ink. The ink was the best tribute ink, and the brush was also a treasure. Hanjian, you gave me the gift first, so I'll write you a few sentences first. Ye Chen smiled and picked up the brush as he spoke. Luo Hanjian looked at Ye Chen curiously, what would Ye Chen write for her? I wish to win the heart of one person and stay together forever. Ye Chen dipped his ink in his hands and soon the words fell on the high-quality rice paper. Shen Zhang's calligraphy is not a cover-up, every word is extremely expressive, and the endless affection seems to shine through. Luo Hanjian looked at the poem written by Ye Chen in surprise. Sister Hanjian, this poem is enough to be passed down from generation to generation. Luo Yudi said in amazement that although she is not yet 15 years old, as a royal princess, her literary literacy is not weak. Sharp. And Langxiu and Lu Qianqian were shocked. Ye Chen's calligraphy and Ye Chen's poems greatly shocked them. The two of them are not illiterate. When they reach such a level of cultivation and strong mental strength, they can easily learn a lot of knowledge. But it is impossible for them to write such a poem. They know that they are far from capable. Ye Chen, I like this poem very much. Luo Hanjian had a beautiful smile on her face. When Ye Chen wrote this in front of Luo Yudi, she had a vague feeling that Ye Chen was deliberately trying to persuade Luo Yudi to retreat. Brother-in-law, where is mine? Seeing Luo Hanjian take away this word, Luo Yudi looked forward to it. Ye Chen was once again stained with ink. Study hard and make progress every day. The 8 big characters jumped out on the paper. They were good characters, vigorous and powerful, no worse than the characters just now. The spirit of hard work and upward energy emerges. Luo Yudi was dumbfounded. Luo Hanjian couldn't help laughing. Luo Yudi looked at Ye Chen aggrievedly, brother-in-law, Sister Hanjian's poem is such a beautiful poem, why is mine with 8 words like this? How about changing it to another sentence? Ye Chen glanced at Luo Yudi and said, Chang Li, how good is this sentence? This sentence is the most suitable for your age. The book has its own beauty, and the book has its own golden house. Brother-in-law, no. Luo Yudi pouted, and an oil can could almost be hung on it. She felt that these 8 characters of hers were not beautiful at all. Luo Hanjian silently recited the poem that Ye Chen had just read. She was amazed in her heart. She didn't expect that a line of poem that Ye Chen read out at random would sound so expressive. The book has its own beauty like jade, and the book has its own golden house. And Langxiu and Lu Qianqian also silently recited it several times in their hearts, and they felt it was beautiful. Luo Yudi was still sad and didn't notice this at all. Brother-in-law. Luo Yudi looked at Ye Chen pitifully. Ye Chen said helplessly, then I'll write you something else, but you can also take this one back. If I can't give it away with my good calligraphy, wouldn't it be embarrassing then? Hee, okay. Luo Yudi was instantly happy. Ye Chen thought for a while and wrote, there is a road to the mountain of books and hard work is the path, and there is no limit to the sea of learning, and hard work is the boat. Still a word of advice. At Luo Yudi's age, she should study hard, and children shouldn't think too much about other things. He, this is good. Luo Yudi laughed and said, she had a vague feeling that Yechen had other meanings, but she didn't think too much about it. Luo Hongjian smiled. From the poem Yechen gave her, plus the poem to Luo Yudi, she already understood Yechen's thoughts. This guy is quite smart. Just let this girl Changle focus on her studies. Luo Hongjian secretly thought to herself that it would be inappropriate to advise Luo Yudi not to fall in love prematurely. Luo Yudi didn't show it so obviously. In Lan, I think the Emperor and Empress are so powerful. Is it because I don't study well? Lu Qianqian said via voice transmission. She felt that several lines of Yechen's poems were very powerful, and seemed to be much better than those in some books she had read. En Langxiu said in a message, the poems of the Emperor and Empress can be passed down for thousands of years, but I am far inferior. Born in Shenjian Villa, En Langxiu is actually quite accomplished in poetry and is already at the level of a master, but the poems she came up with so hard are not as good as the ones Yechen wrote casually. Okay, I've written a poem for you, let's go eat. Yechen said with a smile. When he arrived at the dining hall, Yechen saw a table full of dishes, brought from the imperial kitchen. Today, his birthday, was naturally much richer than usual, but only Yechen and the three of them ate. En Langxiu, Lu Qianqian, and Chunlin were not at the table. This is the rule. Luo Hongjian is the emperor, even if they were asked to serve, they would not dare. After the meal was finished, Luo Yudi took the 2 words and left. Luo Hongjian did not leave immediately. She and Yechen lay leisurely in the backyard together. The 2 recliners were next to each other, and Yechen held Luo Hongjian's hand. Yechen, if you want to win the heart of a person, we will never be separated from each other until we grow old. This poem is good and I like it very much. But if you want to be with me forever, you have to work harder in practice. Otherwise, when I arrive, the black-haired person will have to send the white-haired person away. Luo Hongjian turned her head and said. Yechen. I always felt that Luo Hongjian was taking advantage of him. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 99. En Langxiu and Lu Qianqian looked at Yechen and Luo Hongjian from a distance, and they were amazed in their hearts. The relationship between the Emperor and His Majesty is so good. Before entering the palace, they heard some rumors that the Emperor and Empress had not consummated their marriage with His Majesty after entering the palace for so long, and that the Emperor and Empress were just decorations. Now it seems like pure nonsense. Yechen and Luo Hongjian were lying there holding hands. The warm sunshine shines on them, quiet and peaceful. Yechen, I'm not joking with you. You really have to pay attention to your training. Luo Hongjian frowned slightly. If Yechen is so lazy, his lifetime limit will probably only be at the star level. A strong person at the 9th level of star gathering can only have a lifespan of 300 years at most, which is not even half of hers. Yechen chuckled and said, Hongjian, I will catch up with you sooner or later, you have to work harder. Luo Hongjian. In Yechen's situation, Luo Hongjian estimated that she really had to give the black-haired person to the white-haired person. Now that I think about it, my heart is filled with panic. I must find a technique suitable for this lazy guy to practice. Luo Hongjian thought to herself. There are countless techniques in the world, and maybe there is one that can be practiced while sleeping. That would be very suitable for Yechen. After resting for half an hour, Luo Hongjian left. She is the Empress, the Tianyang dynasty has a population of tens of billions, and she has many things to deal with every day. En Lan, Qian, you go and practice. I'll just keep Eunuch Lu here. Ye Chen looked at En Langxiu and Lu Qian and said. Luo Hanjian has given En Langxiu and Lu Qian a lot of training resources. If they seize the time to practice, their cultivation can be improved a lot based on their current level. En Langxiu said, Empress, your Majesty said that at least one of us must protect you at all times. Ye Chen's eyes widened. She said this before you entered Fengming Palace. Now that you have entered Fengming Palace, it is under my control. If she has any objection, I will spank her. En Langxiu and Lu Qian were in a bit of a dilemma. I'll spank you if you disobey me. Ye Chen hummed. Empress, let's go practice. En Langxiu and Lu Qian said goodbye and left. It was so embarrassing for Ye Chen to spank them. System, dear system. Ye Chen called in his mind. What's wrong with the host? The system responded to Ye Chen. This guy was often cold and silent, but today he gave him face. System, you should know that it's my birthday today, right? Do you have any birthday gifts? No. Ye Chen rolled his eyes secretly. System, there is no birthday gift. It would be too uninteresting if the winning rate does not increase. Your senior was not interesting enough, and now it is gone. Host, you are a real dog. In view of the host's birthday, your success rate in the lottery is doubled today. Ye Chen felt happy in his heart. Good guy, you still have to threaten him occasionally. If you don't knock, you don't know who the master is. Where can I sign in? Ye Chen secretly thought. Last month, he signed in at the Demon Suppression Tower, and he actually signed in something good. The SS level enhancement card gave him the Yin-Yang Holy Body, and he also signed in the S-level Emperor Formation Mastery. There is also an A-level Marrow Cleansing Pill. This thing is still in Ye Chen's equipment slot. He planned to use it for Luo Yudi. The reason why he hasn't used it for so long is because Ye Chen wanted to mention Luo Yudi's cultivation level. Nowadays, there are many benefits to using Luo Yudi, but the medicinal power will be wasted. The last time I signed in at the Demon Suppression Tower, it was the third time I only had A-level things. I always caught a sheep pulling out its wool, and it was easy to make it bald. Ye Chen muttered in his heart. This time he didn't plan to go to the Demon Suppression Tower. He has not yet made a breakthrough in cultivation, and his current strength is still a little weaker than Luo Wanli. I pretended to be cool last time, but it's not good to go again. Purple Dragon Palace, Chaotian Palace, Tianji Palace, Fengming Palace, Demon Suppressing Tower, are there any other good places? Ye Chen thought in his heart. At this time Qiuju approached. She bowed and said, Empress, your Majesty has sent another batch of books. Ye Chen reads books every day, and Luo Hanjian gives him a new batch every 10.5 months. Ye Chen's eyes lit up and he forgot about this place. The Royal Library. This place is usually not very eye-catching, and there are very few people here looking for books to read. But this place is not important. The Royal Library contains a large number of books, including many unique copies. Some books are priceless. If the library is burned down, the loss will be much greater than if Tianji Palace is burned down. Hey, I didn't expect there was such a fat sheep hidden in the palace. Ye Chen felt happy in his heart. Today's birthday has doubled the explosion rate, and with such a new fat sheep, good things will definitely come out. Qiuju, come with me to the library. I'll look for some books. Ye Chen quickly stood up and said. Yes, Empress. Qiuju said happily. Chunlin, Xiaozu, Qiuju, and Dongmei are good at piano, chess, calligraphy, and painting respectively. Qiuju is good at calligraphy, and among the 4 girls, she also likes reading all kinds of books the most. With Eunuch Lu guarding him, Fengchen went to the library pavilion. The library is divided into 3 floors. The books on the first floor are relatively common and can be borrowed by eunuchs with higher status in the palace. On the second floor, those with higher status are required to borrow books. As for the third level, very few people are qualified to enter. As an emperor and empress, Ye Chen naturally has such qualifications. Let Kyoja stay on the second floor. Ye Chen entered the third floor of the library, where signing in should have the best effect. System, sign in twice. Ye Chen secretly ordered, signing in 3 times in a row in the same place will affect the effect. Sign into the library, get the SS level reward of the Holy Sword Cannon, which contains the experience of the Holy Sword. The equipment can directly obtain relevant experience. The equipment requires the strength of the Emperor. Ye Chen was ecstatic. Yes, this is possible. He has the yin-yang holy body, the 8-9 mysterious art, the void-breaking divine eye, the floating light, and the Ruyi golden cudgel. Treasures like this are also very good. But he lacks combat skills and combat experience. The 8-9 mysterious art does come with means such as calling the wind and rain and 72 changes, but they are just small tricks. He doesn't have powerful combat skills. Although he has the Ruyi golden cudgel, Ye Chen doesn't know how to use a powerful stick. If he really fights, he can only rely on his powerful strength and speed to rush up and hit the enemy directly. Now that I have obtained this SS level Saint Sword Cannon, it is just right to make up for this shortcoming. When this is paired with the Xuxian sword, won't the combat power soar? Tisk tisk, it will only take 2 days for my cultivation to break through to the 8th level of the Divine Emperor. I won't need the Ruyi golden cudgel to have the strength of the Great Emperor. Ye Chen wanted to laugh out loud. Sign into the library pavilion to get the S-level reward trial tower. People below the half-saint level can enter the trial. The S-level reward is another good thing. It's just that this introduction is a bit simple, and Ye Chen doesn't know much about this trial tower. System, tell me in detail. Host, the trial tower can simulate various enemies, and you can get combat experience by killing them, but you won't really die in it. Ye Chen understood, so that's it? A place to gain experience without injury. This is also a very good thing for him. As an emperor, plus his temperament, he won't go around provoking enemies, and currently has very little combat experience. The Saint-level sword cannon is a sword experience, which is different from pure combat experience. 1SS, 1S, if I sign in again, I'm afraid it will become an A. Ye Chen chose a few books and left. He planned to go to Zilong Palace to sign in again in the evening. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 100. After returning to Fengming Palace from the library, Ye Chen immediately got the news that Xuanhuan was waiting. Ye Chen's face suddenly turned cold. Ye Chen tolerated Xuanhuan's arrogance in the past, and he would just teach him a lesson. The Xuanhu family is not easy to mess with. If the treasure of the emperor level is sacrificed, he may not be able to withstand it now. But Xuanhuan should never send people to kill the people of Yejia village. Even if they were not all killed, Ye Chen could not accept it. Isn't this the Xuanhu prince? How come you have time to come to this palace? Ye Chen said indifferently when he arrived at the front hall. Xuanhuan bowed, Empress, please treat me. Ye Chen sneered, didn't I tell you before that it would be impossible to treat it for more than a month? Do you think I was joking with you? Xuanhuan transmitted, Empress, you are from the south, you should know Huang Qingying, right? She is 19 years old this year, and ranked 98th on the Juxiao beauty list last year. Now I have taken her out of the palace and settled her in a house. Empress, help me solve the problem, she is yours. You can go out of the palace to enjoy her anytime. There was no one else around, and Xuanhuan took out a portrait. The woman in the portrait had bright eyes and white teeth, and was graceful and beautiful. It was Huang Qingxian. Empress, although Huang Qingying's ranking is slightly lower, Any beauty on the Juxiao beauty list has a stunning appearance. Your Majesty is ranked first, but you don't know when you can consummate your marriage with your Majesty. Besides, Huang Qingying listens to you in everything, but your Majesty won't. Sidu Yan bewitched Ye Chen. For lustful people, Sidu Yan's bewitching is really very tempting. Ye Chen snorted coldly. Is he acting very lustful? Sidu Yan actually used such means to seduce himself. Where is he? Ye Chen transmitted the message. Sidu Yan was delighted. Sure enough, he found Ye Chen's life gate this time. Ye Chen actually likes this. I should have thought of it earlier. The main reason is that Luo Hanjian's identity is confusing, otherwise he would have judged that Ye Chen was lustful. Empress, it's next to Hanyu Temple. Empress, you can say you're going to the temple to have a few days of quiet time and worship Buddha. There's a secret passage leading to where Huang Qingying lives. Don't worry, our Sidu family will never threaten you because of this, because if it's exposed, our Sidu family will be in big trouble. Sidu Yan said in a voice transmission. If Ye Chen really went there, the Sidu family would not threaten Ye Chen for this for the time being. It may not be the case in the future. The Sidu family will rebel in the future. Sidu Yan, are you sure you didn't lie to me? If you lied to me, your illness will be hopeless. Empress, don't worry, it's definitely not. Sidu Yan was secretly happy in his heart. It seemed that his problem was going to be completely solved. Even if it wasn't completely solved, he would have a handle to hold Ye Chen in the future. How could Ye Chen not obey? Sidu Yan, you're so bold. At this moment, Ye Chen shouted. Immediately, several people instantly arrived in the front hall where he was. Eunuch Lu was the first to arrive. En Langxiu and Lu Qianqian were practicing, but they rushed over immediately after hearing the voice. Sidu Yan, what are you thinking? You are using a beautiful woman to seduce me, the Empress. Do you want me to fall or embarrass His Majesty? You deserve to be killed. Ye Chen roared. Sidu Yan was stunned, and he didn't put away the portrait in his hand immediately. Eunuch Lu, take Sidu Yan down, if he resists, kill him without mercy. Chunlin, go to His Majesty immediately and tell him about the situation here. Ye Chen said with a cold light in his eyes. Sidu Yan's hands and feet were cold. He knew he was in trouble now. Ye Chen was so bold. He couldn't understand, how could Ye Chen, a weak empress, have such courage? Ye Chen was offending their Sidu family to death. Yes, Empress. Eunuch Lu and the others responded, and Eunuch Lu easily imprisoned Sidu Yan's cultivation. Sidu Yan had the strength of a god king, but he didn't dare to resist. He was no match for Eunuch Lu. And at this time, Sidu Yan recognized En Langxiu and Lu Qianqian, who were also strong. Why are En Langxiu and Lu Qianqian here? Sidu Yan was puzzled. En Langxiu Sidu Yan had pursued. She was the proud daughter of Shenjian Villa, ranked 6th on the Juxiao beauty list, and she had the cultivation of the second level of the God King, and her strength was no worse than that of him, the prince of the Sidu family. Lu Qinqian's strength and talent were also strong. A figure on the Juxiao beauty list. Empress, do you really want to completely break off with our Sidu family? I am the prince of the Sidu family. If I go to jail, it means that you have completely offended our Sidu family. Sidu Yan said coldly. The Sidu family will not rebel for the time being. As long as he goes to jail, the king of Southwest will definitely abolish his position as the prince. Once the prince's position is abolished, it will be difficult to come back. His father Siduda wanted to be the emperor, and his words would not change easily. Ye Chen said coldly, Prince Sidu, please be aware of your identity. You are just a prince of a vassal king. I am the empress. Can I not afford to offend you, Sidu Yan? Sidu Yan's face was extremely ugly. More people from Fengming Palace gathered together. The matter had become a big deal. Sidu Yan, you used your beauty to seduce me, go to prison and reflect on it. Ye Chen sneered. Sidu Yan was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. Stewart asked him to do this, which shows that Stewart also thought it was okay to do so, but something happened. Not to mention an empress like Ye Chen who has no background and strength. Even empresses with background and strength often don't dare to offend their Sidu family like this. In the past 2000 years, 3 emperors and empresses died unexpectedly. None of the Southwest kings died unexpectedly. In theory, the status of the Queen of God is higher, but in reality, she is a flowing emperor and the ironclad Sidu family. The Sidu family is even more difficult to mess with. Your Majesty has arrived. Eunuch Yan's loud voice sounded, and Luo Hongjian got the news and hurried over. Your Majesty, Your Majesty. Sidu Yan felt cold in his heart. He is not afraid of Ye Chen, but he is afraid of Luo Hongjian in his heart. Luo Hongjian is the emperor. Live or die. Luo Hongjian looked at Sidu Yan with murderous eyes. Even if she and Ye Chen had no feelings, she would be very angry if she knew about Sidu Yan's behavior. If Ye Chen really did that, would she be shameless as an emperor if word spread? Prince Sidu, did the emperor and empress wrong you in what they said? If you lie, you will be punished even more. Luo Hongjian said coldly. Sidu Yan moved his mouth, but did not dare to lie. Huang Qingying was there. He would know after checking it. Luo Hongjian said coldly, the good son of the Southwest King is secretly looking for a woman for my emperor and empress. How awesome! Come here, take Sidu Yan to Dali Temple and let Dali Temple interrogate him severely. Sidu Yan remained silent from beginning to end, knowing that it would be useless to say anything at this time. His father will definitely find a way to save himself. Luo Hongjian waved her hand and the others stepped away. Luo Hongjian looked at Ye Chen worriedly. Ye Chen, Sidu Yan will die. If you do this, you will completely offend the Sidu family, which is very dangerous. Luo Hongjian felt that Ye Chen was a little impulsive in doing this. If the Sidu family is determined to kill Ye Chen, she thinks Ye Chen is very dangerous.